Let's do a quick sound check. Everybody hear us okay? All right, we'll go ahead and get started, and we'll take our first question from Maria.
Coach, a two-part question. One, I'm asking
Maria,
for Cora
I think
Hall.
you're muted.
Oh, it says I'm unmuted. Can y'all hear me?
Hey, Maria, apologize. Could you run that back, please?
Can you hear me okay now? Okay. I'm asking a two-part question. One for Cora Hall, because she's on the road traveling, and I said I would ask it for her. She wants to know, with the resurgence of Tennessee being in the top 5, top 10 this year, does this feel more like a rivalry now between Tennessee and UConn? And my question is, what are the challenges of UConn in this game Sunday? I know they've had some injuries like Tennessee, still a very talented team, and also no fault of their own. They no longer have to play tonight. Butler can't travel because of weather. So you're gonna run into a team that's getting a little bit of unplanned extra rest.
To answer the first part, had to think about it. To answer the first part, I tell you, the last 2 years have felt like this game was a big rivalry game. So I don't know that it'll feel any different with our ranking at this point. I think it's last year obviously it was extremely competitive here, big game. A lot of eyes are going to be on the game. So I think it'll feel like a pretty good rivalry game. Secondly, the challenges that Connecticut brings, regardless of injuries, they're really good. I mean, they have a lot of talented players. They execute very well. They're efficient offensively. They play really hard defensively, and they have a lot of talented players. So I know they've been in and out of their lineups with different players, but when they've got their roster, they've been really good. So it'll be a huge challenge for us on both ends of the court.
Jimmy.
Kelly, what adjustments have you seen UConn make without Paige Beckers?
Honestly, I haven't watched them an awful lot with Paige. I think I did see them play South Carolina early, but I hadn't had a chance to watch them enough to be able to tell you what they're doing differently with and without her.
And what makes their offense effective?
They're great passers, and they have great spacing, and they cut with speed. They get through their offense, and you've got to guard them all because they can all put the ball in the hole for a variety of ways.
Maria.
Coach, obviously this was a tough week. You knew it when you saw the schedule, three games in 1 week. The team has to be off today. You got to have an off day, so you can't regroup until Saturday. Just this team has done pretty well at responding back after a loss. What have they got to do to sort of put Florida behind them and get ready for a non-conference game, but still an important game Sunday?
Yeah, I think, we have to continue to keep things in perspective. I think, there's a lot of basketball left to be played. And I think that's where we have to go. There's a lot of things that we can still do to be better. We can do that. And there are a lot of things that we can do well when we step out on the court, and we have to do those things. And I think, honestly, the mindset is probably the most important thing that we can work on coming out of our game at Florida, going into not just the Connecticut game, but the rest of our season. And we have to have a great mindset, championship mindset, a confident mindset. And, that's, you don't just get that, you have to really work at that. And I think that's where we need to get our players to in the next few days.
Alexa.
Hi, Kelly. This is Alexa Philpott from the Hartford Courant in Connecticut. I have a few big picture questions for you, if you don't mind kind of indulging me. I'm curious what you think the biggest difference between the team last year and this year is, where you are able to kind of elevate, the program to this level where, we saw the early reveal at that point, #1 seed, a great ranking in the polls. What would you kind of assess as the biggest difference between last year and this year?
I think we and looking big picture, I mean, there are a lot of little things that you could say, but I think the toughness and the resiliency that we had this year to win games, win close games, I think was greater this year. And, I think we had players that just stepped up and made plays when they've had to throughout this year already. And we've played in a lot of close games. We've played in a lot of tough games. We've played a really good schedule. And, I think that built their confidence early on, and we're able to roll with it.
I've heard coaches before say in their third or fourth year at a program, they really feel like, they're able to get that momentum going in the right direction. I'm not sure if that's something in your previous stops you felt, or if that kind of is something you're feeling this year where, third year in, you have your recruits in, you have the kind of identity kind of more in line with what you're looking for. Is that something that you feel from a coaching perspective as well?
So this is the fourth place that I've coached, and so taken over 4 times. I think they're all different. I think a lot of it is timing, and the players that you have, the players that you get, the players, the age. There's so many factors. So I do think it hits at different times. And I think for us, we've been able to see. Been here 3 years. I think we've been able to see progress each year at what we were able to do and where we were able to go with it. And when you see that, it's because you have buy-in from your team. That's why. And we've had that this year.
One last one for me. When you have people around the conference saying Tennessee's back, they're back, different coaches, different fans or whatnot, to you, is that just kind of translate to, contending for championships or kind of results, or does that also kind of speak to, the identity and the style, the way you play, especially that resiliency that you spoke of earlier?
I think it means that we can contend for championships. I think that's what that means. I don't think anybody says they're back, they're perfect. I don't think that's happening. And I don't think they think we're back because we play a certain style. I think it's right now we're tough enough, we're talented enough to win basketball games, big ones. Doesn't guarantee anything, but I think we're in a pretty good position to be able to go out and compete every single night. And like I've told our team, there's a lot of basketball to be played, a lot of basketball, and that means there's a lot of growth that can still be had. One thing that I've been proud of our team for a long stretch this season, we found ways to improve. And I think we've really got to continue to do that. And I think, you want to be playing your best basketball when it matters most. And that's about a month or so.
Great. Thank you so much.
Kellyanne?
Hey, Coach Harper, going back to one of your previous answers about the championship mindset following a loss, how do you help your team go back to that championship mindset following a tough loss in Gainesville?
Well, I think that's where, as a coach, you have to know your team. You have to know what motivates them, what makes them tick, where they're confident and where they may be a little shaky, and really try to address those things. I think for us, one of the things that we'll try to do is simplify things. Not overcomplicate things. We understand who we are. Let's just go out and be that, and with nothing more. You don't have to have all these layers. Let's just strip it down and try to make things a little bit clearer for our team. Because I think sometimes when we're overthinking, we're overthinking, and that's not what we need to be doing.
Jill?
Hey, Coach, Jill John Lake with Fox 17 in Nashville. We have your game, the UConn game, airing on our station this weekend. So our Sparta viewers are very excited, obviously, to see you and the Lady Vols. I have 2 big picture questions as well. You mentioned the progress that this program has taken, the steps the last 3 years with you at the helm. Do you ever take a moment to think about the journey that got you to where you are now, especially with this being your former team?
Yeah, occasionally I'll allow myself to sit back and take in all that's happened. You know, the opportunities, the challenges, the path, the journey. That doesn't usually happen during the season. You know, I'm usually pretty occupied by our team and what we need to be doing each and every day. But, you know, occasionally there'll be a moment of reflection that, you know, I can try to take it all in. It can be a lot, you know, because it's a big deal. So, you know, this position is a big position here. So I think for me, my best practice is to come in every day and figure out what I need to do that day, how I can be the best today for our basketball program.
And Coach, I know you've been asked this before, but especially as you get closer to March and the games get tougher and comes down the wire, how often does Coach Summitt pop into your head, and how much have you kind of thought about her and maybe what she would do in a situation or two over the last 3 years since you've taken over?
Yeah, you know, I think I thought about her a lot, and you know, occasionally I'll think, what was she doing in this situation, and how was she handling different things? I think, you know, she had so much to juggle. She had so much to balance, and she did it with such grace. And, you know, I have a lot of admiration for how she handled herself. And obviously, she was a remarkable woman and a remarkable coach and a remarkable mother, and you know, was just such a great role model for so many, including me. And I, you know, one of the blessed ones of having an opportunity to play for her.
Thank you.
Kelly, 2 questions. One, you mentioned losing the poise last night, and also another road game was Auburn. Do you think that keeping your poise on the road has been a bit of an issue for this team the last 2 games?
Well, the last 2 games, yes. You know, last 2 road games, I should say. I think that's, I don't know if it's road games or style of play, but obviously, you know, you question everything as a coach after a loss. We probably do it after wins as well. You question everything, and you try to figure out what can you adjust, what can you do differently, and you know, what are some things that maybe will help the team? You know, just, I mean, I'm talking like time of shoot around, you know, what meal you're going to have the night before the game. So there are a lot of little things that you're looking at tweaking, as well as, you know, the big things after every loss, especially. But, you know, in terms of the poise on the road, you know, we've let a few mistakes snowball. That's really what happened. And one of the things that I thought we did well the majority of the season was one mistake didn't lead to 2. And, you know, we were able to bounce back, and the last couple of road games we weren't.
Also, what bothered you more last night? Was it the 18 turnovers or the fact you got out rebounded?
It was the turnovers last night were, you know, we've had turnovers throughout the season, and we've had 18 before, which is, I think, what we had last night. But the way we turned them over were detrimental to our team. I mean, we gave 5 wide open layups off of turnovers. Now that's you cannot do that. So that was really disappointing. And then the boards, looking at the boards after watching the game back, that now Florida did a really good job. They were very disciplined and did a great job with their positioning, but we were not in position to go get boards like we usually are. And a lot of that had to do with the lack of poise in the backcourt, and then poise moving into the front court to be able to run our offense. When we run our offense, we're in better position to rebound. So it's all connected. Everything that we do is connected.
Maria?
Coach, Jordan Horston has carried this team quite a bit in the SEC this season. Obviously, she struggled last night, a difficult night for her. You needed somebody else to step up, and that didn't come. Was that sort of surprising to you? And who needs to do more for Tennessee going forward as you in this month of February to close out the regular season?
Well, I think for us, it has to be everybody. I don't think that we're going to be a team that relies on one or two people. When we're at our best, when we're competing, we have a lot of different people that'll step up and make plays. And I think that's how we have to look at this. It cannot be just one person doing this. And, that's the thing early on the season. If someone was having a bad night, we'd have a couple other people step up. It's just all season. That's what happened. And unfortunately last night we just didn't have that. But I think we can get back to that.
Quick follow-up. I mean, Tess Darby is not a player on paper that jumps out to anyone, but she seems to have effective minutes when she's on the floor, particularly her ability to spread the floor. And she makes plays on defense. Do you consider putting her back in on the starting lineup, or have you not even gotten to the point of thinking about that yet?
Yeah, I think at this point, we've just got to figure out what's going to make the team the best. So we'll look at all those situations and, figure out if that's where we need to go. I'm so proud of Tess. Tess is so consistent. She does spread the floor. She passes to the post. I think she gets the ball inside. She's doing a really good job defensively. I think she's easy to play with. I think her teammates understand what she's going to do because she communicates with them. So I think she does a really good job for us. Her minutes are good. Her minutes are really good.
Are there any final questions for Coach Harper? See Maggie. Go ahead, Maggie.
Hi, Maggie here from Hearst Connecticut Media. Why was it important for Tennessee and UConn just to want to renew this series another 2 years? And you guys renewed it in June after the 2020 and 2021 games. Why renew it for another two seasons?
I think both teams felt like it was a good game to have. I think the national eyes on the game were good for both programs. I think the game's been pretty competitive and felt like it was good for our team. I thought having those big games can really help us. Our goal is to be the best we can be, and we want to get back to winning championships. And to win championships, you got to play really good teams and in tough environments, and you've got to fight through adversity. And this is great practice for that.
Thank you.
Kellyanne.
Coach, what does the team need to focus on Saturday when you guys are gearing up for UConn to have success on the road in a tough test against this UConn team?
Oh, it's a lot. I think we'll have a practice plan that will be a combination of working on some things we need to work on to be the best team we can be, and then working on Connecticut as well. Because of the early game time, we will not have a shoot around on Sunday, so we got to get it all in on Saturday. We will have a lot to get in, and like I said, at the same time, we're still going to try to simplify things for this team, and try to put them in position where they can walk out on the court and feel good about what they're doing.
Maria.
Coach, I want to ask you about that start time. This team has had 3 night games on the road and struggled in every one. Are y'all just not at night owls? I mean, do you think the noon tip is a little bit better for Tennessee?
Trust me, I've thought about that numerous times in the past couple of weeks, to be honest with you. So, I think the way I looked at players like to play, you get up, you play an early game, you get to play quicker. You get up, no shoot around, just go play basketball. Those late games, you have to wait all day. Now, it's no excuse. You got to figure it out because the other team does. So, I hope that carries over on Sunday. That'd be nice.
Thank you, Coach, and thanks to everyone for joining us today.
Thank you, guys. Good to see you.
Thank you, Coach.